Hey, so one of you asked about my strength training program. So, before I talk about my current strength training program, I am assuming that you already know like the basics of strength training programs like the Shaker and the West Side Barbell and 555 and whatever, the high intensity training like Mike Mercer and stuff like that. If you don't, here is a quick list of those options. So now that that is said, like my current training program is like the basic program is the Mike Mensor's HIT training program, where I just do a one set to failure. And I optimally do that every 10 days. Not every week, but every 10 days. But it can vary with one day. So, for example, if I do it Monday this week, I would do it on Friday, the fifth day of the next week, next time. But now that I was going into university last winter, I modified so that I only trained once every 2 weeks. So only on Sundays, every other week, I did the max training, the day of max training, in which I did all the movements in that one day. And it takes a lot of time, but at the end of the day, it still saves me time, since I do not have to go to the gym multiple times for shorter workouts. So I have found that it is easier to just put them all together and train them all at the same day. And on top of that, I do volume every other day. I have a volume day in which I do 3 to 10 sets of given exercise, so that I do five repetitions, 5 to 6 repetitions in every set. So that's what I'm currently doing. I have had different types of modifications of this, and by the way, on the volume days, the intensity is 50%. 50% of the one rep max is the weight I'm using on the volume days, which is the every other day. And on the maxing out day, I usually do take a weight which I can get 5 reps, and then every just one set. Obviously, I do warm up sets leading up to that, and I do not count those because I just do a few reps in those warm up sets. Closer I get to the final weight, I just do 1 rep or 2 reps on the warm up sets. So the reason why I haven't been making videos before about my strength training program is because it's always evolving. I always have some type of experiment, and now I am experimenting a little bit how many sets should do on that volume day, and with different types of foods and stuff, like should I eat carbs this much or not carbs, and it's always evolving, so giving you a program what I'm doing might not be the same what I'm doing 2 months from now. So that's that. Before I made the decision of putting all the max training move days into a one big training day. Before that, I had the split of chest, back, and legs. And basically, the chest was the incline plane, bench, shoulder press, triceps, side lateral raises, and I think that was it, pretty much. Regarding general strength, obviously then there is arm wrestling movements which I have added to my normal training. On the back day, I chin-ups, seal row, and biceps, and then some real delt exercise. And the legs day, current leg day, since I'm training my home gym, my legs, I do not have access to any hamstring movements or anything, so I just do a deadlift and a squat, and that's my leg day. Also, one thing, the volume day and the maxing out day, the movements on the volume day and the maxing out day, they do not have to be identical, but they do have to train the same movements. Like, for example, the incline plate bench, I sometimes use the Smith machine since I do the volume on my local commercial gym, and I do the max day on this home gym that I have. So the volume day, I just use the equipment that is available to me in the local gym. So side pressure is just from the front, just the cable machine, and like the seal row, you cannot typically do a seal row in a commercial gym. So I just take a cable, the pulley machine, and I just do this. Like with the normal pulley machine, just standing up. Do the one arm row, standing up with the pulley machine. So, and then I use also the assisted chin-up machine to do the volume on the chin-ups. But I have also had a little evolution on movements that I do. Like, I started doing bench press, but now I'm doing incline bench press, and that was partially due to safety, since there is, I think there might be a bigger risk of tearing your pec tendon in the bench than in the incline bench, since you are typically weaker on the incline bench. But also the fact that you are typically, if you can bench something certain weight on the incline bench, you for sure can bench it on the flat bench. But this does not work the other way around. If you can bench something on the flat bench, you typically cannot bench it on the incline bench if you are not training for the incline bench. So that's why I chose the incline bench, because it's neat that doing that, it also keeps my bench at least as high as the incline benches. Regarding the shoulder press, I have had more evolution on that since I first started doing them with the dumbbells, so that I was pretty upright. But I had some. I think it is a little dangerous movement doing it too upright, and especially if you have too much widen up your arms, So it is good to keep them like this and not be so upright, because you wanna avoid those hyperextended angles for your shoulders, you know. So from the upright dumbbells, I evolved into having it more like not so upright, but still using the dumbbells. And then I moved from that to barbell, since when you get to 60 kilo dumbbells in the incline, like a shoulder press, it's very hard to make those dumbbells. Like, and if you wanna travel and train in some other gyms, you do not find 60 kilo dumbbells regularly, so that you could just do your workouts. So that's why I prefer barbell exercises, since all gyms has barbells and all gyms has some type of adjustable bench. So that's why I do it kinda not so upright. It's also, when you do the shoulder press with the barbell, I think having it too upright, like you have to go with the bar, you have to go around your head. If it's too upright, your head is in the way of the movement. The bar path would wanna go where your head is. But if you just put the bench a little bit down more, then the natural path goes right here. And it kind of feels like something you should be doing. It feels more right to do it a little bit more leaning back than have it too upright and you needing to go around your head with the barbell. It doesn't feel good. Then the triceps. I used to do the behind the head dumbbell extension for the triceps, but that when you get heavy dumbbells with that, like I got to 70 kilos with that. Like the problem is, where the fuck you find a 70 kilo dumbbell? You have to have your own gym. You have to some kind of own build dumbbells use, and it's difficult. And the other thing, it just hurts your elbows. It hurts way more your elbows than the cable push down. So that's why I do the cable push down. And I do it kind of not strict, but I just feel like it feels the best like that. It, like, I do not agree that you should do it like this, since when you get, because doing like this, your real delts, like the muscle that does this, it's too much involved in the movement, and it might become the weakest link. So you kind of want to have it under you. That's my opinion. Since in that case you are kind of like squatting it, like you would squat with the legs, and it feels just more natural to do it like that. With the side lateral raises, I used to do them standing with the cheating side lateral raises, but now I just do it sitting down, so it is more stricter. With the chin-ups, I started doing them with the lat pull down, but obviously you run out of weights with that, and then I moved it to the chin-ups with the disc grip, but it doesn't feel right. Neither does this feel kind of right. So for a while I did the one arm lat pull down, which does feel right, but the problem with that is that it's very easy to cheat on that movement, since you can lean back and stuff. So now I do the chin-ups with the neutral bar. I'm just using my Swiss bar. I hook it up and I do the chin-ups like that. and put some weights, added weights on it. Regarding the movement, which is like the cable row, whatever this is, I used to do the machine, but the problem with that is that it's really easy to cheat, and when it is easy to cheat, you do not really know have you gotten stronger or did you just cheat more. So that's why I left the cable pull machine and moved to the dumbbell row. But again, with the dumbbell row, the problem is that you're gonna get to a very heavy weights eventually, and then again you ran into the problem that where do you fight these heavy dumbbells? Like dumbbells are problematic because usually in the gym you cannot find heavy enough dumbbells, and then if you do find heavy enough dumbbells, they are all awkward because they're so big. They kind of come in the way of the movement. So that's why I like the seal row, and I started doing the seal row, doing just the barbell seal row. But now I switched that into the Swiss bar seal row, where you have the neutral grip, since it feels a lot better. And from all the arm wrestling movements and stuff, I think I got some time ago a little inflammation here, and the barbell seal row really irritated that pain. So doing the neutral grip really helped with that, and it feels the most natural. So I had just kept doing it and really like it. Then biceps, like I started doing the basic dumbbell biceps things, which I guess everybody do someday. But then I changed it to doing using the barbell and using one arm at the time with the standing barbell curl. And then that's not so strict, so you can cheat, and hence it's hard to know how much you got stronger or haven't you. Have you just cheated more? Like the problem of not knowing did you got stronger or did you just cheat more, it kind of messes up your fine-tuning of your strength development program. Since you would want to have that data, did you got stronger or not, so that if you made any changes to your diet or the strength training program itself, you can get that data and then you can evaluate the changes you made. Like, did you take some supplements? Did you like take 10 times the creatine or something? Did some experiment? Did I get stronger from this? But if you're doing movements where you do not objectively know that you got stronger, it's problematic since you are not getting that data. So you cannot evaluate the changes you made. Are they making you weaker or stronger? Or were they good or bad changes? So that's why I prefer to have strict movements. But obviously you can then add some cheating movements or static movements. Like, by the way, that the cheating movements, like usually the cheating in the cheating movements comes from the ability to integrate a static strength into the lift. Like for example, the cheating bicep curl, which you do like this. The reason why you can do more on that is because you are utilizing your static strength. You come to this position and you lock your arms up, and then you come here. Like you did not move them, so cheating is basically training statics. So nothing wrong in that, I guess, if you like training rolling thunder and stuff, like that static strength. but people do not consider that cheating. But like the cheating bicep curl, like that people consider cheating. But if you consider that is as a static lift, static strength development, then you might see it differently. So that's that. Okay, and then from the barbell one arm barbell curl, I moved into doing the strict curl, and that's what I'm doing currently for the biceps. And then obviously I train fingers and arm wrestling movements, but for the side pressure I do the front cable from front, and then cable from side, or I use the side pressure machine I built, the 2.0 side pressure machine. Then for the fingers, I use the adjustable finger strength apparatus that I built, which takes rubber bands, and then I use the Rolling Thunder thing that I built. So some movements I do only dynamic movement, and for some movements I do the dynamic and static movement. So for the fingers I try to do both, static and dynamic. The same is for all the wrist exercises. The side pressure I do not do the static because I do not want to get hurt. Like the side pressure might be a little bit dangerous movement, so I keep my repetitions high. Like I do usually aim for 10 repetitions and then I add weight if I get, whereas normal movements the 5 repetitions or 6 is the limit where I add weight. But with side pressure I usually the 10 repetitions is the limit. And then I do the rising with the rising handle which I built, and then the static I use the belt. Just try to lift the weight of the floor. And pronation I do the pronation with the belt from the wrist. So I do a little cheating movement with having it just your hand here. So since there is cheating on it, I consider that as a static lift, or lift which has a lot of static in it. So, and then I do controlled movement laying on my side on a bench with the belt from the wrist. And the wrist flexion, I do wrist flexion from here, like just taking a barbell and doing this. I think the Tim Presner in one video he recommended that move. Just take a barbell and do this. The barbell is pulling to this direction and you do this. And then I do the traditional, just having it from the side. Barbell is now going this direction and I do this. But I am considering leaving this movement away, since it is a little injury. Its injury risk is higher in my opinion than doing the one where the pulley happens to this direction. So I am contemplating of leaving this traditional away. If I forgot to mention anything, notify me of it, and maybe I clarify something. But like, since my strength training program is always evolving, it's kinda like this is what I'm doing now, 2023 summer. This is what I'm doing now. After 1 year it might change. I did start the strength training with just doing 6 sets of 6 reps once a week. And I just did that for like forever. Like literally 5 years without ever changing it. Just did it. And I got somewhat strong with it, but then when I changed to doing just 1 set of 6 reps, like my strength just took off. So I do think the Mike Menser's HIIT training there is something to it. But then when I added the volume, the first I added the volume was 70% of the 1 rep max. And I just did 1 set with that. And it did add something. It was better than just the HIIT training. Even though I did it every day with that 1 set, with the 70% of 1 rep max with the 5 reps. I did that every day since I had the access to my home gym, so it was easy. But then I changed it to I started to notice that in some movements where I just lowered the 1 rep max like percentage to 50% of the 1 rep max, like I started to notice that these movements developed even more. So, and also I believe in the Westside barbell training method, they do the dynamic day with 50% of the 1 rep max, I believe. So I experimented and find out that it actually works better than the 70% of the 1 rep max for me. So that's why I'm currently using the 50% of the 1 rep max. But obviously, if that, like some movements I go with the feel on the volume day. Like since like some movements you are doing them kind of cheating. Like there is cheating involved in some of the movements when you do them in the max day. So when you are doing them on the volume day, you usually do them stricter, since they are not heavy weights, since it's 50% of the 1 rep max. But you have to take into consideration that the 1 rep max you did was it was calculated from the set in which you cheated. So you are actually, the strict form of that is lower than the cheating form. So in those movements, the weight I choose is typically lower than the 50% of the 1 rep max, which I would have calculated from those cheating form movements. So I just go with the feel. It just feels too heavy, then I lower the weight, and like the volume days are like, it's better not to do them than do them too heavy. That's the principle. You do not want to go too heavy on them. So, because even doing the 1 set to failure once a week, or better once every 10 days, or depending if you just start training, then you might want to do it. Like you want to find your own range. Like you might want to do it once every 7 days, and then if you get good results, and if those results someday stop, maybe you change to once every 10 days. And if the results come back, then that was a good change. But also you could try that you train every 3 days. Like lots of the things I do in my strength training program are things which I have experimented on myself. For example, when I experimented with those, like the Westside barbell and the Jayco method, like I did not find them giving me good results. Like might have been because I did them wrong, maybe, but the way I did it, and to my opinion, I did it the way they should have been done, since I bought the books of this where there it is laid down and did the program and implemented it a little bit, but I didn't like, I got weaker on it. And I did not like the fact that the cycle of training is so long where you do not know are you stronger or not. Like, it might take a month when you next max out in some movement where you get data again, have I gotten stronger on this? Like, I do not like that. I wanna get data more often so I can experiment things and compare did I get stronger or not. Obviously the main reason why I do not do them is because I did not find that they work that well. The current training which I do is work best that I have ever tried a training program. So, to recap, current training is one max out training pro day in 2 weeks where I do everything in that one day. It might take 8 hours. I do everything. Obviously you eat a lot of carbohydrates in that day and drink milk or something. So you do not just do fasted. Like, you do not anything to fasted. You wanna, by the way, the volume training and the max effort training, you never do anything so that you don't eat anything, because your body is in a catabolic state. It will break down muscle to get that energy to do things. You do not want that. You want to give it carbohydrates or amino acids, essential amino acids, or like, I think you should keep, I have been successful in doing those volume days in the ketogenic diet, meaning no carbohydrates, when before those training sessions I ate chicken tube. There is some PubMed studies on chicken tube possibly being ergogenic, so that my reason that if it is ergogenic, it might be able to replace carbohydrates. And I have done that successfully, and I didn't find that I continued to get gains in the chicken soup ketogenic diet when I did those volume days on a ketogenic diet, meaning no carbs, and with the chicken soup. But on that max effort day, when you do max out and do as many reps as possible with the weight you choose, in those days I do eat carbohydrates from bread and milk, and maybe some buns or something. That's what I eat all day when I'm doing that workout. And you have to eat, because if you do not eat, your body becomes catabolic, and all the exercise you do is catabolic. It's better not to do it in a catabolic state. Okay, I think that's all. If I missed something, let me know. Bye.